What's up guys, Davey here, and as a college student, one of the most frustrating things, besides getting rejected by a girl that you really liked, is to fail a test despite studying your butt off. But, of course, we will experience all of that sometime in our college career, as it is just a part of life. Or is it? When I was scrolling around YouTube looking for any sort of study advice because of my very productive first semester, I came across a video talking about a study secret that only 1% of students know about. Now, is that 1% actually accurate? Probably not, but I can still definitely gain a lot of value from this video, so I decided to watch it and kind of share my opinions to it here. So I'm just going to go ahead and react to it, so without further ado, let's watch the video.
Ask any student and they will tell you that exam time is the most stressful, sleep-deprived, and grueling part of being in college, and with all the work that many students put in, they still fail to get the grades they want.
That is definitely very relatable, at least to me. It didn't really bother me this first semester because most of the tests were online and we can use our notes and stuff, but yeah, I can definitely relate to this. Especially in middle school. In high school, not so much, and I'll kind of explain why in another video. I have so many videos planned, come on. Alright, anyway, so, let's continue.
I was once that student who worked extremely hard to get good grades, yet I always fell short.
Okay, that's not relatable. I don't know if I worked very hard. But, yeah, I definitely feel like I worked very hard, but I don't know if that's true or not compared to other people. But, yeah, I definitely, I've always been a very mediocre student, just to be clear. Yes, I'm Asian. I have never been a top student, okay? I've never been a top student in my school. I've never been a I've never taught my class, alright? I don't know why I can't talk. But yeah, I've never been that good of a student. Just to be clear, okay?
I learned a few critical study habits. So bosses, in this video I'll share with you some of my most effective study tricks that you yourself can use to go from zero to hero and get the amazing grades that you've always wanted. Back in college, I was a very hardworking student. I went to all my classes, read every assigned chapter, and put in more hours of studying than I could count.
That's the issue. I only probably fall into I probably only check one of those three. I mean, I do go to like every single class, but let's get real here. Most freshmen don't actually read most of their textbooks. Come on, let's be reasonable here. And I don't know if that's the case. I don't think I spend enough time on my studies. I don't know. We'll see.
With all this hard work being put in, you would expect that I would be one of the top students in my program, right? Well, unfortunately, this is not the case.
I was pretty mediocre too, honestly, so I don't know how to feel about this. I obviously don't put in as much as I could, definitely, in my studies, but I'm a very mediocre student in my program too, so does that mean I'm smart? Nah, I don't know. We'll see.
I got back was far from being anything to brag about, and with only a year left in my program, I started to question whether a master's program was in the cards for me. You see, I always wanted to be the first person in my family to get a master's degree, but with these subpar marks, my dream was slowly slipping away.
Here's the issue. That's one of the biggest motivations for most students, but I don't have that kind of motivation because my parents both had master's degrees, so I don't know what to say. Let's continue watching.
What was worse is that my finals were just a month away, and these grades would be considered if I were to apply to other programs after my undergraduate degree, so I needed to find a way to improve my academic performance, and in a hurry. A month before final exams, I had just been introduced to podcasts, which I would listen to on my way to and from class. One day, I'm
gonna bet money that he's gonna put an affiliate link in the description below. Anyway, let's continue. That was not relevant. Why do I keep pausing the video for no reason?
New episodes and came across one that immediately caught my attention. It was titled, 4 Study Hacks Top Students Will Never Tell You. Of course, given how desperate I was to improve my grades before applying to grad school, I hit the play button and began to listen. The podcast continued playing, and finally I got to the first tip, which is to focus on the core concepts.
Okay, that is a no-brainer, okay? Of course you're supposed to focus on the core concept when you're studying, but that's not always very easy. I mean, I feel like a lot of times when you're trying to study something, you're always stuck in the middle of a bunch of random facts that you don't actually know the core concepts. That's why I feel like as professors, I think it's a really good idea to give the students PowerPoints or sort of outlines of what to focus on. But most professors don't do that. That's what frustrates me. But yeah, definitely focus on core concepts if you can.
That many students will read the textbook from front to back and try and memorize every detail while failing to grasp the main concepts at a deeper
As I
level.
said, that's the main issue most people face. They don't know what it is. They don't know what the main concept really is.
Which allows them to create more insightful answers on their exam. This point made total sense to me. I would use how much I read as my indicator for sufficient studying, rather than what I read. I thought to myself, was I writing poor answers on my exam because I didn't understand the concepts as well as I had thought? I then listened on. The second study hack was to write down your notes by hand.
Okay, I fully agree with that. Now, I know a lot of people like to type. Sorry, I had something in my eye. But I know a lot of people like to type their notes because it's obviously a lot faster. But the point of taking notes in the first place is to grasp the information and remember it, not to finish it as soon as possible. No one's going to grade your notes. Your notes are not for a grade. This isn't middle school, guys. But yeah, I definitely recommend writing your notes too, because it gives you like this muscle memory and it helps you remember things easier. And this actually brings me up to an idea. I actually have a video idea in the future where I'll talk about my best way to write notes down. And because I personally hate digging through a bunch of notebooks. But I can tell you right now, there's actually a way you can take notes without having to worry about looking for them in the future. Sorry. So I'll talk about that in another video.
I laughed to myself, thinking this tip was rather antiquated, given that typing is so much faster.
Yeah, it is.
But then I heard an interesting fact. A 2014 study showed that students who handwrite their notes retain information much more effectively than those who type their notes. I figured that typing meant that I was getting more of the information in my notes, but it turns out the act of writing your notes by hand makes you process the information in your own words.
That's true. That is true. However, most people are doing it wrong. Okay, I've seen so many people literally copy down as much as they can from the textbook, and that wastes even more time. Guys, don't do that, alright? You have the textbook for a reason. Don't copy down sentences from textbooks or PowerPoints, alright? You can look at that for a reason, okay?
Attention. We were 2 steps into the podcast, and I began to get a feeling that these newly found tips would definitely help me in my quest to getting better grades. Study hack number 3 was to use Parkinson's law when studying.
Parkinson's law? Isn't Parkinson's that disease where you can't remember stuff? I think so. I don't, let's keep watching. This is interesting.
Parkinson's law, I thought to myself, isn't that a disease?
Yeah, isn't that the one with memory?
Well, apparently
isn't that?
Parkinson's law is the idea that work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. And in the case of studying, that involves not setting time limits on your study periods.
Okay, who on earth sets time limits on their study periods? What?
Since by not setting time periods for studying, you are more prone to lacking the focus
Hold on.
on reading and
That brings me to another point. Because here's the thing, most people can't focus for more than 30 minutes, and I definitely know that as a fact. So if you put your study time if you set unlimited time to study, how on earth are you gonna stay focused for that long? I'd like to know that.
writing notes, since you perceive your study time to be endless. The podcast stated that top students allocate defined periods of time to study where they focus intensely, then to give their brain a chance to process its newly acquired information. I had to kick myself because I was definitely the student who thought that the more hours I studied, the more prepared I was, but in reality what matters more is how focused you are when you crack open the books. As my commute to school was coming to an end, I was then presented with the 4th and final study hack, which quite honestly changed the course of my academic career.
Whoa.
The hack was so impactful
Dang. Let's stay tuned to listen to it, guys. I think this is probably the most important part of the video.
that I still remember exactly how it was phrased by the podcast host. He said, "The 4th study hack is to adopt study habits from the top level."
Of course. Oh my god. Obviously, ask for help from people who are better than you, if they were willing to help you at least. Of course. Why was I so surprised? What? Obviously, yeah.
Comparing myself to the highest achieving students, rather than asking them for tips.
Sorry, I was making fun of this for a little bit, but that's actually really good advice. I never thought of that, actually, because I've always compared them too, but I've never asked for help. Huh, interesting.
After class that day, I began talking with some of the best students in my class, and their tips were instantly impactful in building my own study habits. They mentioned how they would use flashcards to learn
Oh
key
my
definitions, how they would teach others the content to better learn it themselves, and even how they would ensure they got enough
Okay,
than
I'm not a huge fan of flashcards because it takes a long time to write them. I usually just steal Quizlets from online because most people, there's not even a point of making Quizlets anymore because you can easily find them and copy them. But yeah, flashcards are a good idea. I just don't like writing them because they take so long. I honestly, personally, really think teaching is actually a really good idea if you have the time to do it. Teaching to someone else basically proves that you understand everything. And yeah, obviously, get enough sleep before the test. Carrying on from another video I made, please do not drink or get drunk before a test. All right, guys. I know that you guys do that a lot. Don't do it. Do it after the test, guys. Come on.
before big exams in order to assure their success. 2 months after hearing this podcast, I was a completely different student. I began to study the pertinent topics of all my courses, cut out all distractions when studying, limited my study periods. And
oh my! You should have brought up the phone when you were studying. Oh my god! Yeah, of course not have your phone out, but like you should have brought that up when you're on that step. That would have been a lot more helpful.
Search for better study methods, and to my delight, I got on the dean's list for the first time in my college career. And as they say, the rest is history.
Guys,
thanks.
So that's some huge results here. So guys, hope you guys get as much value as I did. Sorry, I can't talk. Let's continue watching and see what else he has to say. Just 10 more seconds left.
Oh. Watching. For more advice.
Okay, so that's pretty much the video. Yeah. All right, so let's go and see what let's go and see what the comments are saying. Let's go and like that video. So yeah, let's read some of the comments and kind of react to them, I guess. So the first person says, anyone else watching this instead of studying? I am. I have finals. I'm just kidding, guys. That was a joke. No, I just finished my finals. Thank God. Yeah. So instead of drinking and having fun, I'm making these videos for you guys. You should appreciate that and go and subscribe and leave a like. Anyway, so someone else said, you prepared well for an exam when you're feeling excited instead of stress, or is it only me? That doesn't happen very often to me, but I mean, I can see why that's your case. Okay, so another person said, did anyone notice studying is a mixture of student and dying? Wow, where did that joke? I had no idea. That joke has been so old. That joke is so old. It's okay. I love people who puts dead jokes under comments. Okay, so another person says, focus on core concepts, write notes on hand. Okay, so you basically summarized the video. Wow, I need to rank this up. We need to get this to the top so people would stop watching the video. Wait, no, then he's gonna delete the comment then. Is he? I hope he's not, because then that's gonna ruin his watch time or viewer retention rate or whatever that's called. I don't know. I'm a noob on YouTube, okay? I don't really. Here's where the video actually starts. Oh my god, I love it when people do this, guys. It's so funny. Okay. So yeah, and yeah. Wait, look at this one. Only 1% of students know the secret. Well, I guess I'm part of that 1%. Hey, same here. I don't know if that's like 1%, but I'm assuming it is because it is kind of valuable. And I'm pretty sure most people don't do it. So I think that's all I have now. I'm not going to read any more of these comments because I think I'm pretty sure these comments are pretty relatable to what I think about this video. So yeah, that video is definitely a very helpful video. Anyways, that's all I have now. I'll leave a link to this video in the description if you want to check it out yourself. Make sure you comment on whatever you think of this video as well, and I'll see you guys next time.